They challenge themselves to live another day. And sometimes they can go for many weeks without having to do that. Suddenly something triggers them and they're questioning whether it's worth living.
The really tough parts about my story, even at this age, as old as I am, 37, is still the effects that it had on my family. You know, people who are around me, I think that's another question that people always ask is, how come nobody noticed? If all of this is going on and you're saying that people are around you, how come nobody noticed? Well, they noticed it, but they perceived it differently. Just the way that I noticed it, but I perceived it differently. Trafficking is a legal term. It's not a life term. You know, it's not how life actually happens. I don't know that you ever fully get out of it. Particularly when all of these people they're not in jail. I mean, they're roaming the earth freely. They can access me really whenever they want. But I do feel like I have opportunities to, at the very least, even if they do come kill me, like they say they're going to, at least there's people in the community who are listening and who know what's happening. And even if they kill me, at least the truth is real to people.
Whenever I speak, I do an exercise with everybody, and I tell everybody to close their eyes and say, picture a prostitute or a junkie, a crackhead, a crack whore. And then I tell everybody to open their eyes and stand in front of them and say, that image that we have come to embrace, that's me. Sex trafficking and addiction are not just inner city problems. They are suburban problems. You know, our society has become okay with locking away drug dealers and arms dealers, but yet we keep wanting to turn a blind eye to people selling humans over and over, because the reality is, once the drugs are gone, you can't resell them, and you can do that with a human. I want people to be aware, I want people to be educated, I want people to know that this is not an inner city problem. This is an everywhere problem. This is a suburban problem, especially with the heroin epidemic sweeping over our cities and youth starting with prescription painkillers. I want people to start the conversation.
Look for the clothing. Look for, are you in a convenience store and you have a girl and guy together and the girl is just like walking behind the guy, not talking to anybody, head down, looks scared, looks nervous, and then the guy is making all the decisions of, you know, and yeah, obviously, we all know that as a couple, if you go into the gas station or something, the guy's, well, old school is the guy's supposed to pay and whatnot, so we're not saying that, but look at her demeanor. Does she have bruises? Does she have a black eye? Is she walking behind this guy, just not looking at anybody, not paying attention to anybody? And, if you bump into her, if you say hello or something and she just looks down and doesn't talk to you, that's because she doesn't have permission to talk to you. That's how these power and control pimps work, is they don't want you looking at somebody, talking to anybody.
You can look for the girl who is walking in the mall with her friends, maybe a couple steps back from everybody, keeping her head down. You can look for the victim who is with an older man or older boyfriend.
Befriending them, hanging out with me, I'll take care of you, I'll give you rides, let me buy you some stuff, and that trusted adult. And so it's like just understanding what it looks like is really that and protecting those young kids,
It's important for people to pay attention to what's going on around them, not just for this, but for all crimes. Pay attention to suspicious vehicles. Pay attention to suspicious people. Why are they in the neighborhood? Are they normally in the neighborhood? Are they frequenting that maybe certain times of day, certain times of the week? Is it unusual? Those are things that we want to know. Those are the things that if it looks weird to you and out of place, then it is.
For parents, I want to say, get to know your kids. Be friends with your kids, and of course there's a fine line between being a friend and being a parent, but if you don't know your child and their habits, how are you supposed to know when something is different, when something is off or not right? So first and foremost, know your child so you can know when their habits start to change, when their behaviors start to change.
Be a parent, that's it. I mean, that's what is going to stop young girls and boys from getting into this, is you making sure that you are keeping tabs on your kids and knowing what they're doing, knowing who they're talking to.
Freedom is coming. If you're in that life still, we're working so hard to do what we do, and also collaborate with law enforcement, collaborate with state level government and so forth to bring about change in legislation, to bring about just awareness within law enforcement, and just continue to grow the conversation of what can be done. It's like dominoes, every piece affects each other, and we're all needed.
No matter what they get you to do, no matter what they get you to try, they cannot fundamentally change who you are. They can change a lot about you, sometimes to the point where you don't even feel like you're recognizable to yourself. Honestly, there were years where I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. It's just, you do such weird things as the effects of trauma set in. But you're still there. You are still there. It's not, when you get to find people who understand the situation and you really get to start to explain what happened to you.
Not to embrace what we hear in the media or in songs or see on movies, but to get the conversation started, to break the stigma of what a victim could look like, to end the misconceptions of what trafficking really is and really entails, because it really is modern day slavery, and it is going to take a village to make a difference, but it can really start with just one person.